Hello, good evening, and welcome to another Great Genius Rugby Quiz. I think we need an opening theme tune, right? It's got to be done. Oh, yes! Genius up. We're ready to go. Good evening and hello and welcome to another Great Rugby Genius quiz. I'll get those words right in the end. I'm very pleased to be part of the Genius crew. Cheers, everybody. Happy Friday. Hope you've had a good week. 3%, 79 calories. What's not to love? This is what it's all about. It is my absolute honour to have been asked by the guys at the My Name'5 Doddie Foundation to be here hosting your quiz tonight. I'm pleased to see that a few of my regular Nick's Pub quizzers have joined in. For those of you that may not know me, my name is Nick Heath. I am a commentator, freelance, so not tied to a particular broadcaster. I don't get to build up that reputation, but working on the likes of the Six Nations, Gallagher Premiership. I've commentated at the Rugby World Cup, been on a couple of Lions tours as well. Generally all over your social media, doing bits and pieces there. Do lots of commentary on the Green King Championship and also on things like the Women's Premier 15s. So I hope you can all hear me nice and clearly. I've got a microphone set up just here. Yeah, you're very welcome. I hope your week has been well, as I say. I'm really pleased to be taking part in this. Doddie, of course, such a character of the game. And I got the chance to chat to him a year or two ago at the Rugby Writers' Dinner that is held in London every January. Good time to have a dinner on a Monday in January. But Doddie was his normal self-deprecating self. An incredible character of the game, of course, one of my heroes. If I just move your camera slightly, you can see just up here, that is a commentary sheet from the 1999 Rugby World Cup final. That was Bill McLaren, who obviously was well known for doing all of his prep. You know, Bill's commentary on someone like Doddie, the Mad Giraffe, as he used to call him, is one of those reasons that I wanted to do what I do in terms of getting into commentary and wanting to make the game feel accessible, because I think that's something that that Bill did terribly well. I'm going to just bring you down a bit more. There we go. That's better, isn't it? Look, to the chance to say hello to a few of you. My thanks, as I've said, to Stuart. Also, hi to Jason and the Genius guys. We've got quite a few in here already. The likes of Graham, who is here from my Nick's Pub quizzes. Welcome from Narnia. And I think we've even got Caroline, who signed in as well. Yeah, for those of you that may not know, I've been running a twice weekly pub quiz for the last 13 weeks of lockdown, which has been, something I didn't know I was going to do. But I think we've all done things over the course of the last few weeks that we didn't know that we might need to do during this curious time. So it's been a really fun ride. We've built up a fantastically warm community, and I mentioned to a few of them that I'd be diving in here tonight. So it's great to have some of the Nick's Pub quiz crew here. Great to be making the acquaintance of those of you that have been doing your regular Fridays with the Great Rugby Genius quiz. So look, I think we're just a couple of moments away from getting underway. I can see James saying, I know little about rugby, but need some Nick-based quizzing in my life. Well, that's very good to hear. Yeah, my thanks to the guys at Genius. This is going down very nicely for a Friday evening. Don't mind if I do. Excuse me. Yes, I wasn't going to say that Doddie was in the World Cup final, but it sits above my desk. This is genuinely my desk where I work, and lockdown projects such as getting all of the accreditations hung up. That's something you're meant to do. So I've been doing that. Genius advert posted up. I've dressed my set. Not my first rodeo. The O'Gradiators from Cambridge are here. I'd like you to have a team name if you want one. That's how it can work. Pop one down on the top of your sheet. Let us know your scores at halftime. This is what we'll do. We have, about 10 rugby questions for each half. We've got some sporting questions and some general knowledge. We also have the chance for you to win a 2017 British and Irish Lions touring jersey signed by the guys. So that is really what it's all about, is you bidding for that or bidding just to take part. The description of this live stream has the PayPal link where you can donate to the My Name's Doddie Foundation. And don't tell anyone, but we're looking to smash Alex Payne tonight. All right. He did well. He raised a decent amount of money on the night that he did it. I think over £1,000. You guys are going to do me well tonight. And I know you are. We're going to smash that. And you basically make your donation via the PayPal link. And it's an opportunity for you to be in the running to win that jersey, but you're also donating to a fantastic cause. So we are going to smash that. You are going to be very generous because you are. And we're all going to do a quiz. My thanks to the likes of Jill Douglas, who, of course, looks after the Doddie Foundation, Alex Payne, who I've mentioned, Scott Hastings, Nick Knowles, all these various people that have hosted before me, and Ollie Phillips, of course, who was the last. I can't guarantee to have as many rugby stories as he's had. But look, let's get this quiz underway, shall we? Your answers are at the top of your paper. This is the Great Rugby Genius Quiz for a Friday night. Oh, yes. Get ready. Okay. Eyes down for a full house, team. Let's go with question number 1. These are going to be your rugby ones for the Great Rugby Genius Quiz. Let's start with question number 1 then. Warren Gatland will coach the Lions for the 3rd time next year. But who has coached the Lions on 4 occasions since 1989? So that's your question 1. Warren Gatland will coach the Lions for the 3rd time next year, but who has coached the Lions on 4 occasions since 1989? Just a reminder to all of you, I'm not using my Nick's Pub Quiz jingle tonight, but the answers go on pen and paper at your end. At halftime, we will have a little mark through, see where everybody's at. We'll share our scores, have a little drinkable, and then we'll get going with the second half. So that's how that's going to look. Anne-Marie's in the house. Nick's Narnia's lovely. O'Gradiators, good to have you here as well. Thanks, Caroline, for being here. I can see in the group. Okay, so that was question 1. Warren Gatland will coach the Lions for the 3rd time next year, but who has coached the Lions on 4 occasions since 1989? Your question number 2. Which rugby legend recently turned 80 and is the most capped British and Irish Lion? It's fun to be giving out all these rugby questions. Thanks, Stuart. That's question number 2. Which rugby legend recently turned 80 and is the most capped British and Irish Lion? I was having a little watch back at Ollie Phillips's excellent hosting, some of his rugby stories. In a bath with Madonna? My goodness me. That's pretty magic. Dog eggs are giving it a go. Good. Bruce the Almighty. There's a lot of bruising going on. Bruce Aitchison and friends. Is it because I didn't mention Bruce hosting? Sorry, Bruce. It was just a general run through. Did you end up being the only person I missed out? That's always awkward, isn't it? You did an excellent job, sir. Hello from sunny Gloucester. Hope there's a cherries question today. Wow. So that's question number 2. Which rugby legend recently turned 80 is the most capped British and Irish Lion? Question 3. Who kicked the winning drop goal last week to beat the Chiefs, who his dad coaches? There's your clue. Who kicked the winning drop goal last week to beat the Chiefs, who his dad coaches? Good to have you all here joining us for the Great Rugby Genius Quiz. Hope you've got a cold one wherever you are. Hope you're winding down. That's question 3. Who kicked the winning drop goal last week to beat the Chiefs, who his dad coaches? Question number 4. In what year was the 5 Nations expanded to become the 6 Nations? That is, in what year was the 5 Nations expanded to become the 6 Nations? Daniel wants to know where my T-shirt's from. It's Ted Baker, Daniel. Am I wearing it well? I've gone a bit floral this season. Yeah. was just showing off some of my rugby books there. The excellent Mud, Maul and Mascara from Catherine Spencer, my mate Kath. Cheers. So that was question 4. In what year was the Five Nations expanded to become the Six Nations? Question number 5 in our rugby first half. Which nation reached the quarterfinals for the first time at Rugby World Cup 2019? That is, which nation reached the quarterfinals for the first time at Rugby World Cup 2019? Where was that held? By the way, I have to give a shout out to my beautiful assistant, Tom, who gave me the haircut earlier. Trimmed me up pretty good, I'd say, right, team? Not bad for a lockdown cut. Ben wants to know if he can carry over tonight's points to the next Nick's Pub quiz. To the regular Great Rugby Genius quiz crew here, if you want to join next Saturday, the 27th, then we'll be doing a regular Nick's Pub quiz, and you'd be very welcome. So that was question 5. Which nation reached the quarterfinals of Rugby World Cup 2019? Question 6. The Estadio Jose Amalfitani Stadium is located in which city? I'll say that again for you. The Estadio Jose Amalfitani Stadium is located in which city? Thanks, Amanda. And thanks, Stuart. Stuart, of course, who invited me here, has been coming along to our Nick's Pub quiz evenings and kindly donated to my benevolent fund as well. So thank you, Stuart. Really very much appreciated. Tonight is all about the charity, of course. So find that PayPal link. My beautiful assistant, Caroline, will also post the link in the chat for us. So you can make your donations there. We've got to smash 1,000. Come on, team. We've got to do that. That's question 6 then. The Estadio Jose Amalfitani Stadium is located in which city? Naomi, I'm not sure they are going to make an appearance tonight. I've given them a bit of a holiday as well. I think they're in Ibiza currently. Old Gay Goose and Hoglog. So question number 7. Have you got that stadium? Hopefully you've had a stab at that. Question number 7. Who played the bulk of his career for North of Ireland FC and played in 56 Five Nations matches between 1964 and 1979? Retiring there a year after I was born. Question number 7. Who played the bulk of his career for North of Ireland FC and played in 56 Five Nations matches between 1964 and 1979? Who is that? Who's the Irishman? I appreciate those of you that are here from across the way at Nick's Pub Quiz are very good regular donators to the cause, which is very much appreciated. This, of course, is one for charity. We raised a decent amount when we did our quiz for the NHS a few months ago now, as it was. So hopefully we can do a decent amount for Doddie's Foundation tonight. Should say, of course, for those of you that may not be aware, as well as being a brilliant rugby player, of course, it was a few years ago now that Doddie received his diagnosis and decided to set up the foundation and simply to find a cure for MND ALS. And they've given away over £4 million worth of grants and funding to continue the research. And they're certainly aiming to be able to give a whole lot more than that. So it is brilliant work that Doddie's doing. Of course, he won the Helen Rollison Award at the Sports Personality Awards on the BBC in December. Everything we can do to help the big man who is giving the fight of his life, then of course we will do so. Question number 8 then. You got that one for 7? Got all the info you need? Man who played 56 Five Nations matches between 64 and 79. Question number 8. New Zealand All Blacks star Beauden Barrett. I'll put a word in there, shall I? Make it make sense. Why not? New Zealand All Blacks star Beauden Barrett has 4 brothers and 3 sisters. Oh, no. Imagine the grocery bill there. Name the 2 brothers who also play for the All Blacks. Yes, that's your question there. So Beauden Barrett has 2 brothers who also play for the All Blacks. Who are they? What are their names, please? Yeah, of course, Doddie was on BBC and Good Morning Britain. It is Global MND Awareness Day on Sunday. So good timing for us to be raising a bit more awareness as well by doing this quiz. Thank you for coming and taking part, giving an hour of your Friday night. Hopefully you're enjoying yourselves. We've got a cold one nearby. You're putting up with me waffling on via your smart TV or your laptop or various things. So that's question 8. The brothers of Beauden Barrett. You'll get 2 points for that, I think. We'll give you 2. Why not? Yeah. Question number 9. Which former England captain has completed a move to San Diego Legion in the USA's Major League Rugby? So that is question 9. Which former England captain has completed a move to San Diego Legion in the USA's Major League Rugby? Doddie is a legend indeed. And I should say, where are we? As you may be able to see, 5p from every can goes to fighting motor neurone disease. There is Doddie, the great man, in his tartan. So that's the Genius connection, and my thanks to those guys. Genius beer is the UK's first light craft lager, brewed with the finest Pilsner malts and Styrian Golding hops. Yeah, I know them. Do you? And matured with Australian Galaxy and Ella hops for a zesty citrus aroma. It's just 3%, 79 calories. Less calories than an apple. The old genius. Geniuses. Well done, Caroline. Thank you. Even my beautiful assistant who helps me is paying to the cause. It's what we like to hear. So that's question 9. Which former England captains completed a move to San Diego Legion in the USA's Major League Rugby? Question number 10 then, your last of the purely rugby section of the first half. We will have some more. This is a Great Rugby Genius quiz after all. Question 10. Recognised as one of the best players in the world, Jonah Lomu played most of his career in New Zealand. But which club in the UK did he play for in 2006? So Jonah Lomu, recognised as one of the best players in the world, of course, game changer really, wasn't he? Played most of his career in New Zealand, but which club in the UK did he play for in 2006? How do you reckon you've done on your rugby ones? We'll find out in just a few minutes. Yes, we will. Not too difficult, some of those. Yeah. Modicum of rugby knowledge should get you through there, I would say. All right, so moving on. Onto a little bit of wider sporting knowledge. How are you in that department? Let's find out. Question 11. The Chicago Cubs and Boston Red Sox play which sport? That is, the Chicago Cubs and the Boston Red Sox play which sport? I think we have a Chicago Cubs cap in this very flat. It's question 11. Chicago Cubs, Boston Red Sox playing which sport? Question 12. What tactical move did Alex Ferguson make at half-time against Southampton in 2006 when losing 3-0 at half-time? There's a sporting memory question for you. Question 12. What tactical move did Alex Ferguson, now Sir Alex, make at half-time against Southampton in 2006 when losing 3-0 at half-time? What did he do? Badly, says HP, in terms of how they're doing on the rugby. Well, that's okay. There are more questions to come, right? Fee Sweeney, thank you very much for contributing. Really, really appreciate it. Very, very good of you. I know. I think Jill had a meeting on Monday, even with some of those that they're giving the funding to, the direct research funding. So it's always magnificent when you are involved in brilliant causes like Doddie's, like the foundation, where you know the funding is going exactly straight to the people that need it and who are doing the work. So yeah, brilliant stuff. Question number 13. Modern pentathlon involves running, shooting, horse riding, and which two other sports? So the modern pentathlon involves running, shooting, and horse riding, and which two other sports? Now, according to old Stuart here, you're just getting a point for that, so it's half a point each. Yeah, got to get them both for the point, apparently. Rob was hoping to avoid a soccer question in our rugby quiz. Got all 5 sports then for the modern pentathlon? Yes, come on then. Question 14. After retiring from professional cycling, what other sport did Bradley Wiggins briefly attempt to make a career in? Question 14. After retiring from professional cycling, what other sport did Bradley Wiggins briefly attempt to make a career in? Have a guess. If you don't know, just have a guess. Very happy when we get to a little halftime point as well to answer any questions you may have on rugby opinions, if I've got one, if I know anything about it. Also on Q Commentator, which is, my passion project, talking to famous commentators. Produced my episode with Alison Mitchell, who talks all about TMS and being a woman treading the path in cricket commentary there, first woman to broadcast on TMS, or to be a regular commentator, I should say. John Murray the week before, BBC 5 Live's football correspondent and commentator. Brilliant spending an hour with him. It really was. Formerly spoken to the likes of Miles Harrison, Ian McGeechan. Ian McGeechan. I have spoken to Ian McGeechan, not for Q Commentator. Ian Robertson, another fantastic Scotsman. All such brilliant characters. Nick Mullins as well to cover the rugby crew. Question number 15 then. How many balls are there in total on the table at the start of a game of snooker? So how many balls are there in total on the table at the start of a game of snooker? That's your question number 15. Snooker balls. Too many, says Caroline. Too many on the table. Caroline, were you present when our friend Vicky played pool with Keanu Reeves? Were you there? It was somewhere out your way, I think. Some good home counties celebrity tittle-tattle there for you. So that was question 15. Now we move on to a few general knowledge questions. Are you ready? Here we go. Question number 16. Name the pub in the soap Emmerdale. Name the pub in the soap Emmerdale. That's your question 16. No, says Caroline, but she has played ping pong with Kevin Spacey. I went bowling with him. A friend of ours was his PA. It's true. Mr. Lovell says, or Mrs. Lovell, J Lovell, whatever the J is for, they stay there a long time when I play. So Tony wants to know what's Emmerdale. It's a UK-based soap. That's 16. Name the pub in the soap Emmerdale. Just think of something sheepy and you might get there. Question 17. Which Stephen King novel takes place mostly in the fictional Overlook Hotel? I think this one might have cropped up in Nick's pub quiz. So my NPQ crew might know this one. But yeah, 17. Which Stephen King novel takes place mostly in the fictional Overlook Hotel? Thank you to Stuart for prepping these questions as well. Made my my workload a little easier this week. So I'm very grateful. Also, as he's been responsible for the rest, I could have set questions that you've all heard already. So there we are. That's it. Some of you may have heard this in another quiz, but this is our audience here at the Great Rugby Genius Quiz have been testing their own grey matter, and it's an honour to be amongst you tonight. Question 18 then. Bohemian Switzerland National Park is in which country? Yeah. Question 18. Bohemian Switzerland National Park is in which country? Is it... but maybe it's... Is that a film reference from Jay Lovell? Oh, I missed it. Sorry, Jason. So that was your question 18. Have you had a guess at the country there? Hopefully so. Question 19. What is the largest animal on the planet? What's the largest animal on the planet? That's your question 19. Caroline says that she is rivaling the largest animal on the planet since lockdown began. It's been a tricky time to maintain the attitude to staying active, hasn't it? Yes, I know the feeling. That was question 19. So we are getting close to rounding off your question 20 in your first half here on the Great Rugby Genius Quiz. Our 8th one. Question 20 then. What colour are the seats in the House of Commons? Question 20. What colour are the seats in the House of Commons? Those are your questions for the first half of the Great Rugby Genius Quiz. Yes, there we are. We've raced through your first 20, and we will get on to marking them in just a minute or two. But now is, of course, the moment that I remind you what this is all for. It is, of course, for the great man, for Doddie. There he is, the My Name's Doddie Foundation. Not only can you grab hold of some of the fabulous Genius Craft Lager, which is 3%, 1 unit, 79 calories, less than an apple, hashtag smart drinking, which gives 5p per can. But you can also donate. And that's what tonight is all about. We would love you to follow the PayPal link that is in the description of this YouTube live, and get yourself in there, donate a few quid, and hopefully we can raise some fantastic funds for Doddie. It's like a pub quiz, isn't it? You'd probably put a few quid in the tin if you were taking part in the pub, and that's what tonight is all about. So let's see what we can raise. It would be absolutely fantastic to blow the roof off with raising a few quid on a Friday night. So what have we got in the chat? Any other little bits and pieces for me to address right now? It doesn't look too much like it. So should we run through the answers, and then I can take a couple of minutes of a Q&A if you want to, on rugby, on broadcasting, on that side of things, because I don't do too much of that, obviously, when I've got my other Nick's Pub Quiz hat on. So a chance to chat about a bit of rugby if you fancy it. Or we could just crack on if that's what you want. Let's go through the answers then. The rugby ones. First of all, then, question number 1. Warren Gatland will coach the Lions for the 3rd time. Of course, he will next year, completing the tour. After Australia and New Zealand, he will do South Africa. Who's coached them on 4 occasions? It is, of course, the man who is Mr. Lion Man. It is Sir Ian McGeechan. Answer to question number 1, Sir Ian McGeechan. Question 2. Which rugby legend recently turned 18 is the most capped British and Irish Lion? That is, with 17 Lions appearances, Willie John McBride. Willie John McBride, another Lions legend, of course. Question 3. Who kicked the winning drop goal last week to beat the Chiefs, who his dad coaches? That was Bryn Gatland. Bryn Gatland, your answer to 3. Question 4. In what year was the 5 Nations expanded to become the 6 Nations? How well did you do on that? It was 2000. 2000 was the year we had our 6 Nations. Question number 5. Which nation reached the quarterfinals for the first time in Rugby World Cup 2019? Well, it was the hosts. It was Japan. And what an amazing time those of us who were out there had. Brilliantly hosted Rugby World Cup. Question 6. The Estadio Jose Amalfitani is located in Argentina. It is Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires is your answer to question number 6. Question number 7. Who played the bulk of his career for the North of Ireland FC and played in 56 Five Nations matches between 64 and 79? You're asking for a year, half a point for a year out, Rob. Go on then. I'll give you that. Michael Gibson is your answer to question number 7. The Irishman Michael Gibson, of course, who had that 15-year career. So give yourself a point if you got his name for number 7. Well done. Question 8. Bowden Barrett's brothers. You're looking for Geordie and Scott. Geordie and Scott. You're allowed 2 points there, we've decided. Yeah, Geordie and Scott, your answer to question number 8. Question number 9. Which former England rugby captain has completed a move to San Diego Legion? It is Chris Robshaw. 66 caps, the most capped player as captain. Chris Robshaw is moving to California for next year. Stay classy, San Diego. Question number 10. Recognised as one of the best players in the world. Jonah Lomu played most of his career in New Zealand, but who else did he play for in the UK? Well, it was Cardiff in 2006. Cardiff was where Jonah Lomu played. So, sporting knowledge questions. We move on. We will do a total of the first half in a moment. Chicago Cubs and Boston Red Sox play baseball. Baseball, the answer to question 11. Question 12. And what tactical move did Alex Ferguson do after they were losing 3-0? Well, he changed strips from the grey away strip to the blue and white second away strip. So there you go. Let's see if that'll make a difference. Question 13, the modern pentathlon. I gave you running, shooting and horse riding. We wanted 2 more. They were fencing and swimming. Fencing and swimming. Well done if you got those 2. It's a point there. It's half a point if you got one of those. So 14. After retiring from professional cycling, Bradley Wiggins briefly had a flutter in rowing. Rowing was where Bradley Wiggins tried his hand. 15. How many balls are there in total at the start of a game of snooker? 22. Give yourself a good mark if you put 22. Well done. Now on to the last few of the first half, the general knowledge. Name the pub in the soap Emmerdale. It's the Wolfpack. The Wolfpack. Woolpack. I'll put an extra letter in because there aren't going to be many sheep left if there's a wolf around, let's be honest. The Woolpack. Apologies. Question 17. Which Stephen King novel takes place mostly in the fictional Overlook Hotel? That's The Shining. Well done. Imagine most of you would have got that. Partly because you might have heard that question before. Question 18. Bohemian Switzerland National Park is in which country? That's the Czech Republic. It's not in Switzerland. It is the Czech Republic. Well done if you knew that little nugget of knowledge. And 19. What is the largest animal on the planet? It's not Caroline. It's the blue whale. And blue whale, your answer to 19. And what colour are the seats in the House of Commons? They're green. Green are the seats in the House of Commons. So... look, add them all up, pop them in the chat if you're capable and if you're interested. Let's see how you've all done for the first half of the Great Rugby Genius Quiz. Yes, Joe Kremin is saying a marvellous 18. Tim Haynes has got a 19 there. Simon Robinson, 18.5. Amanda, 15, says a bit ropey. Still pretty good, I'd say, given some of those rugby questions were a little testing, and some of the others, to be frank. Ben Mason got 18. Naomi's 18. James, 6 out of 20. Nailing it. Good. It's just, we're all together having fun. The O'Gradiators from Cambridge, 12.5. 7 out of 20. Far better than anticipated. Good. Nick Hodgson's got 19.5. Will Cook, 17. We have plenty of scores coming in. I'm just going to scroll back and see if we've got any of the other questions. Have I got a Madonna story? No, Stuart, I'm afraid I haven't. Got a Kevin Spacey story, but probably not for now. And Ross Mather, he was asking, you've done most rugby commentators on Q Commentator. When does Alistair Eakin have a look in? Do you know, as I was saying that list, I thought, Ali should probably be in there. I've been slightly conscious, though, of being sort of incredibly BBC focused. And I know he's no longer with the BBC, but I have wanted to kind of go elsewhere a bit. Got a few more cracking episodes coming up soon. A few more scores then. 7.5 from the Dog Eggs, 20.5 from Fiona Collin, David Bruce, 13. Who else have we got? Kiki Talk, 16.5. Fiona, yes, just saying that's 20.5 out of 21. First half was out of 21. That's very good. Zoe's got 13.5. Nice to have you here, Zoe. Nikki's got a poor 8. 16 for the Wrexham Barbars. The Isolators, 13.5. Donations been made through Just Giving, says Tony McCarty. Thank you, Tony. Very much appreciated. Amelia, 15.5 from the Guildford Guzzlers. And Gradiators always get so excited when you shout us out. Well, I've done it about 7 times tonight, haven't I? London Lockdown FC, Lockdown London have 13. Daniel B, 15 with the wife. That's good. Well done. Anne-Marie, thank you. I'm enjoying my break. I'm back quizzing, clearly, so I'm missing it too much. If you've got any other little questions that you wanted to get in, Rob Haggett asks, what rugby law would you change? I think, for me, one of the areas that I get frustrated about is the length of time advantage is played beyond the reasonable amount. I've sort of almost been led to believe I'm making this up, but when I used to run touch for my dad, bearing in mind he was a rugby referee in Buckinghamshire for 25 years, I think the interpretation of advantage being played, if you saw a penalty and you're playing advantage, would be that if the team made a good sort of 10 metres in attack with the ball, they would be given that advantage, and then advantage would be over. And now I understand that was possibly the same for a knock-on advantage, or at least, but the knock-on advantage seems to now be over a lot quicker, which I like, keeps the game flowing. But it now seems that a penalty advantage is always up to the point that they might score. And you can see a team break away and have a 3-on-1, and then they'll sort of go to put it through the hands, and then they'll drop it, and we go all the way back for the penalty. For me, that's advantage over. Nigel Owens and I have had this conversation. I'll just name drop there, but he's like, as long as you're consistent for both sides, I get that point of view. But that's one of those. Ocular, favourite match you've commentated on? That is a difficult one. I had the opportunity to do the varsity matches last year, and that was a first. So those kind of first experiences are great. And England's women's games against New Zealand, those are always good as well. I got the chance to do some other games in the Women's Rugby World Cup, but I think nothing can beat one particular game. I was on radio commentary for Rugby World Cup Radio in 2015 in Brighton Community Stadium. And we all know what happened there. I was working with Tulson Tullett, the former international, and we settled into our seats. Obviously, like everybody else, not quite knowing what was going to happen and slowly seeing it unfold. And I had that moment, having been commentating for about 4 years at that stage, of seeing the Japanese rock over on the far side. Of course, it was South Africa against Japan. For those of you that may not know, South Africa, big, obviously well-dominating force in rugby. Perhaps not at their best during that tournament, but certainly would have been expected to get past Japan pretty easily. And Japan played a very intelligent game. They're a shorter side. They kept the ball low in all the lineouts and everything else strategically, absolutely outclassed South Africa, and managed to keep in the game. Last play of the game, they were able to fling the ball wide and score. And I was so aware of having to nail that moment, got the build-up right, called the try in, and Talson next to me is screaming all over the moment that I'm then trying to just describe what's happened. We've had a jolly good laugh about it since. But basically, next time I'm ever working with him, I'm bringing a dummy so I can shove it in his mouth until I finish speaking. But it was an incredible atmosphere to be there for that game. It was absolutely magic. So that's got to be the best game. It will take quite a lot to beat something that was that big an upset. Just looking through the chat then before we get going on the second half, just a few other scores there. 15.5 for the Shot Galway girls from Clearna. Ellen Stew got 19, very good. Chris says, which rugby side do you follow? I don't really follow a side anymore. Growing up in just west of London, used to come and watch the likes of Harlequins, London Irish, London Welsh a little bit, and Wasps very much as well. And yeah, it was a case of looking in the paper and going, who's got who? Okay, Wasps are playing Leicester, let's go and watch that one. Or London Irish have got an interesting game. So yeah, we would go and watch any of those really. So I sort of got to know a lot of the London clubs. I have now been very kindly made an ambassador by the Harlequins Foundation, and I was their announcer at their stadium for a season. And they're a very, very nice family-friendly club. They've got a rich history, which sits quite nicely within the game of rugby, I think. So maybe I've got a bit of a soft spot for Harlequins, but I enjoy calling it as I see it as a commentator, because you've got to be as impartial as possible. And then the other side of it, nationally, my late mother was an Irish woman, so I've got a lot of affinity with the Irish. I've stood in Lansdowne Road screaming for the Irish against England in my teens. I think that's probably waned a little bit. I think I'm now more of an England fan, if I am a fan. That's partly just from working in and around that team for 10 years. You get to know the characters, you get to go and see how much work they're putting in, and then when they go to an international tournament, you sort of want to see them get the rewards for what they've done. Not to say that everyone else hasn't put the work in, but yeah, that insight can make you feel that you sort of want the people that you know to have a nice experience. But yeah, that's about that side of things. What else have we got here before we move on? Chris Palmer, best wingers you've ever commentated on? One women's, one men's. Oh, now then, there's a question. Lydia Thompson is just gas in the women's game. She's pretty exceptional. Cat Merchant, you can't look past in terms of ability to really finish. Wingers, I mean, that's really difficult. For a moment there, Samesa Rokodunguni came into my head. Didn't quite make it at international level, really, did he? But I think he's so devastating and so difficult to stop. That Fijian blood, it's a real problem. It's sort of one of those. I always like those players that just you can tell the crowd are just getting out of their seats when they get the ball. So he'd be one that's up there. There are quite a lot. I realise. My problem is I don't have that encyclopedic Rolodex of names. I don't go 20 international wingers. Which one should I pick? Like plenty of people can. So feel free to suggest and I'll pick one out of your list. So thank you for those of you that are donating. And Zoe says, who has the nicest rugby bottom? I wouldn't know, Danny Kerr. Oh, sorry. Henry Slade as well. Yeah, excellent. Good. Just going to have a drink and we can forget that conversation happened. I'm very professional at all times. So I'm going to help myself to, that's the cold one. Good. I did a little display for you. Yeah, why not? Big Bull Barry has put 20 quid in the pot for a great cause. Barry, I love you for that. That is good news. This stayed nice and steady. Right, who else are we going? Yeah, night off for Tom. Yeah, he's nice and chilled. I need to visit Wharfdale Rugby Club, most scenic ground in the country. Is it? Okay, good. I visited Waterloo up near Liverpool just before Christmas, did a game in the Tyrrell's Premier 15s. There, of course, they will no longer be taking part. And that was incredible. They did me a full Christmas lunch in a bap with gravy, and then brought me mulled wine on about the 77th minute to the freezing commentary point, which was just on a table on a live stream outside. I've never been looked after as well. Waterloo have set the bar high. Who's the best female player you've seen while commentating, says Stuart McKendrick. Well, I have had the chance to commentate on the likes of Danielle Waterman, Nolly Waterman, who I think was absolutely one of the best. Has she fully retired? Certainly internationally she has. I've also had the chance to commentate with some fantastic female athletes. Natasha Hunt, who is the England scrum half, she's got a long career ahead of her in the commentary box. Analysis on point, lovely sense of humour, really good fun. So there's a little bit of an answer on both there. More questions than I thought coming in on the rugby. That's lovely, because I don't get to talk about that when I do my other quiz, do I? Here Anne-Marie says, I was at the Miracle match in Thomond Park. It was even better than the World Cup in France. Very good. Who else have we got here? What do you think of the experimental laws in the New Zealand games, especially the offside? I think it was working. We saw a lot of penalties in the opening rugby, Super Rugby Aotearoa weekend last weekend, didn't we? But I largely like where it's gone. The players will have to get used to it, but we will see. I think we will. Oh, Chris Reader says, best stadium you've been to. I've been to the Millennium that everybody loves. I've been a couple of times. I saw a Wales-South Africa game with a mate when he was living there, and we sat up in the gods and whatever. But I actually went during the this year's Six Nations, and I was sat in probably the best seat I've had, properly in the media tribune, straight opposite where the players come out. And I think it was technically, because I wouldn't necessarily always travel to those sorts of games, not being as much of a written journalist, technically the sort of biggest Six Nations game in Wales I've ever been to. And I just sat there for a moment and went, this is something special. The lights, the smoke, the noise, the singing, I think that will really take some beating. So yeah, if you haven't had the chance to go to the Millennium Stadium, the Principality Stadium, I should say, for keeping the sponsors happy, then it is well worth it. All right, make sure that you have donated. It is what it's all about. Of course, you don't have to if you're having troubled times, and of course, many people are, whether they're furloughed or, of course, some people losing jobs as well. Then don't worry, enjoy the quiz, enjoy it with us here. Let's take your mind off that for the second half. But if you can, then a few quid would go down very nicely. And let's beat Alex Payne. Far too pretty, isn't he? So let's put a few more quid in the pot. All right, are we ready to start with the second half? Yeah, those of you that are struggling to find the link, it's in the description of the video. You might just need to look around it or something, or minimize it for a minute to see the details that are there. But it's the PayPal link. Hopefully you'll manage to get hold of it. Are we ready for a second half? I think we should be. Let's carry on then with the Great Rugby Genius quiz on your Friday night. Let's go. Yes. Don't forget, of course, when you are donating, you are in with a chance to win that 2017 British and Irish Lions jersey from New Zealand, signed by the squad. So that's pretty good too, isn't it, for those of you of a rugby persuasion? All right, let's get on with the second half then. Thank you to those who asked questions as well. Nice to have a bit of a chat. I'll give you one little story as well, a little fun story about a moment of commentary that I quite enjoyed in a little while. But question number 21. Let us continue. Question 21. We now have another 10 rugby questions for you. So here we go. Question 21. Which former rugby player was due to make his professional mixed martial arts debut on the 16th of May this year at Wembley before it was postponed due to the COVID-19 outbreak? So that is, which former rugby player was due to make his professional mixed martial arts debut on the 16th of May at Wembley, were it not for COVID-19? Amanda, can't wait to be at a rugby match again. I know, all of us. So that's your question 21. Former rugby player due to make his professional mixed martial arts debut in May this year. Question 22. Name the former player who has appeared in all of the Harry Potter films playing the half-giant Hagrid. That's question 22. Name the former player, he's a presenter as well, who's appeared in all of the Harry Potter films playing the half-giant Hagrid. It is definitely not a scrum half. Certainly not, Stuart. So question 23 then. What item has featured in every Rugby World Cup since it started in 1987? That's what item has featured in every Rugby World Cup since it started in 1987. We're not talking about the trophy, but there is another item that has featured in every World Cup. I might suggest there's a sort of almost ceremonial element to it, but I'll leave it there. I'll let you have a little think on that one. That's your question 23. Question 24. Which nation has appeared in 3 Rugby World Cup finals and has lost all 3? It's question 24. Which nation has appeared in 3 Rugby World Cup finals and has lost on all 3 occasions? Oh la la. Question 25 then. Who holds the record for the most tries scored in the Six Nations Championship? The Six Nations Championship. So who holds the record for the most tries scored in the Six Nations? Amanda says, dodgy reffing in 2011. Well, Alain Roland, famously. So that was 25. The top try scorer in the Six Nations scored 26 tries. As a clue, if that helps you in any way, if you don't know. Probably not. Cumulatively, Ben. Otherwise, that would be ridiculous. I appreciate you hadn't heard the total amount of tries as you wrote that. 26. Over 5 a game. Player for question 25. Player, not country, yeah. Question 26. You all right with that one now? Question 26. Which team holds the record for the biggest away winning margin in the Six Nations? That is, which team holds the record for the biggest away winning margin in the Six Nations? Thanks for donating during the rugby questions, Mitzi. Nice to have you here. Good to see you here again. And I appreciate some of these questions may not be up your street. So thank you for donating. Really, really appreciate it. It is a fantastic cause. And I am very honoured to be part of it, part of helping fundraise. So Stuart, thank you very much for asking. And all the best to Doddie. Question 27. The only All-Ireland final in the Heineken Cup was in 2012. Can you name the teams? You'll get 2 points if you can. So that's question 27. The only All-Ireland final in the Heineken Cup, it's the European Cup, was in 2012. Can you name both teams for 2 points? Question 28. Hopefully you're able to name 2 Irish sides and you'll stand a decent chance. Question 28. Name the 2 Australian states. Now, this is geography, Stuart, may I tell you. Name the 2 Australian states that have not hosted a Bledisloe Cup match. Yeah. How are you on your Aussie states? One might be slightly easier than the other one. But that is, name the 2 Australian states that have not hosted a Bledisloe Cup match. Yeah, 'tis a toughie, isn't it, Jason? I agree. Our friends at Genius Brewing. Of course, the Genius cans are not available in the shops, so you want to get yourselves to Genius Brewing. GeniusBrewing.com. It's not quite in focus, is it? But you get the idea. I'm sure you can remember GeniusBrewing.com to get hold of some. 5p from every can goes to Doddie. So that was your question 28 about your Aussie states. Question 29. Name the brothers from New Zealand who made their Scotland debut together in 1998 against South Africa. So I'll give you that one again. Name the brothers from New Zealand who made their Scotland debut together in 1998 against South Africa. They're in Spa in Scotland, are they? Oh. Wow, those of you north of the border are sorted then. Marvellous. Well done, Spa. That was question 29 then. Name the brothers from New Zealand who made their Scotland debut together in 1998 against South Africa. Question 30, rounding off the rugby-specific quiz questions. Question 30, which team has played home matches at Meadowbank, Easter Road and Mireside? That is, which rugby team has played home matches at Meadowbank, Easter Road and Mireside? Dougie and the Ballymena Fat Boys can recommend Genius because they won a crate a few weeks ago. They can highly recommend it. There you go. Probably, Ballymena Fat Boys, probably not so fat since they've been drinking Genius light craft lager. See what I did there? Brand ambassador. That was question 30. Which team has played home matches at Meadowbank, Easter Road and Mireside? Those are your rugby questions. We'll continue into your general sporting knowledge. Question 31. How many players are on an Australian football team? Aussie rules. How many players are on an Aussie rules team? That's question 31. Moving into the last 10 now. It's related to Australia, of course, that I have a little commentary story for you, of course. Don't know if we have any Australians playing on the quiz tonight. Do we? Oh, people wanting to know country or club. Hopefully you've got the answer for that. That was question 30, was it? Which team? Which club team? Yes. Yeah, little story. I was. Some of you may know of the Australian player Israel Folau. He's very good at commenting on things that he doesn't really need to comment on. Of course, he's one of the best fullbacks in the world, or has been. He's also a deeply religious man, which is fine. But he has a habit of wanting to say some things about some people that I don't necessarily agree with. He answered a question on his Instagram page when someone asked him about God's plan for homosexuals. Izzy decided to leave out the bits where he said that God's plan included a fabulous taste in music, a devastating cocktail making ability, and a penchant for canapes. But he did decide to focus on suggesting that we're all going to go to hell. So that wasn't so nice, really. And you know, he's done it again. He's got previous. He's obviously fallen out with Rugby Australia for it. But I was on commentary for Italy against Australia in Italy on the world feed, and Israel Folau made a break upfield, got a bit stranded, got a bit on his own, got brought to ground, half looking for someone, you know, support wasn't there. So if you ever come across the footage of Italy against Australia from 2018, I think it was, there may be a commentator on it, me, saying, Israel Folau there, he's got himself isolated. He desperately needed a man up inside him. I couldn't help myself. I couldn't help the chance. So there we are. You know, you make your bed, you got to lie on it. Yeah, take your opportunity is all I'm saying, is the moral of that story. Anyway, shall we carry on? Question 32. In football, which team has won the Champions League, formerly the European Cup, the most? That's question 32. In football, which team has won the Champions League, formerly the European Cup, the most? I'll repeat that for you because a load of you have clearly enjoyed my Folau story. Well, you know, it's honestly, I haven't actually managed to get hold of the World Feed footage. I'd love it because, you know, then I could play it for you. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? But anyway, yeah. So that's question 32. Meanwhile, back at the quiz. In football, which team has won the Champions League, formerly the European Cup, the most? Which football team? Bruce, you might struggle with Hibs. Question 33. Got your football team? Question 33. What is the lowest amount of darts required for a 501 finish? So that's what's the lowest amount of darts required for a 501 finish. Yeah, it's a bit of maths for you in there too. How many can it be done with if you're superhuman? Stuart, has anyone ever done this, do you know, in your finding out this lovely question? Has it ever been done? Anyway, that's the lowest amount of darts required for a 501 finish. Question 34. In which sport would competitors use a piece of equipment known as a foil? That's question 34. In which sport would competitors use a piece of equipment known as a foil? We've just tipped over the hour mark. I won't keep you too much longer. The speaker's just turned itself off. That's good of it, isn't it? No. So 34. In which sport would competitors use a piece of equipment known as a foil? Question 35. Which course is the Masters Golf Tournament held? On which course is the Masters Golf Tournament held? It's your question 35. Which course is the Masters Golf Tournament held? Five to go, team. 5 to go. I've got steak after this. I decided I'd save my dinner till after. Might have an old-fashioned later. I've bought some Bullet Bourbon Rye whiskey as well. So before I started the quiz, I was looking in the kitchen and I saw that I've got basically a massive fat steak there and some Bullet Rye. I'm basically Ron Burgundy in human form. Anyway, question 35, the course the Masters Golf Tournament is held on. Now to a few general knowledge questions. Question 36, what's the capital of Chile? Chile. What is the capital of Chile? Question 36. Good. Had a stab. Capital of Chile, question 36. Question 37. Who was made Lord Mayor of London in 1397, 1398, 1406 and 1419? Stuart. Really? You know I don't speak Spanish. Nice, Amanda. Question 37. Who was made Lord Mayor of London in 1397, 1398, 1406 and 1419? How are you on your Lord Mayors of London going back 700 years? I mean, it'll be someone you've heard of, but whether you knew this... But it's just a laugh, isn't it? We're just here on a Friday night, raising some good money. If you haven't donated yet, please find the PayPal link in the description of this video. This is the reason we're doing it. You're doing it to have some fun. I'm doing it to have some fun with you. But the overall thing is all about this legend who has a massive battle on his hands. And if he's going to go through it, by God, is he going to go down fighting and giving every opportunity for people to find a cure for this horrible disease. So please, if you can, please donate. Really, really, really would mean a lot. All right, question 38. Which country is the origin of the cocktail, the mojito? That is, which country is the origin of the cocktail mojito? Thank you, Caroline. Caroline, did you get the WhatsApp I sent you with the link? Maybe you did. I haven't been able to check my phone. I've obviously sent the questions to a different Caroline. Oh, there we are. That's question 38. Which country is the origin of the cocktail mojito? It's just a hopeless clue, really. Means nothing, does it? Question 39. American singer Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germanotta is best known by which stage name? Yes. Janice needs help finding the PayPal link. Someone can copy and paste it into the chat, I'm sure. So that's question 39. American singer Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germanotta is best known by which stage name? It's your penultimate question, folks. We are whistling through it. That's 39. American singer Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germanotta is known by which stage name? And now for your question 40. In the Blackadder series, who plays the character Lieutenant George? Question 40. In the Blackadder series, who plays the character Lieutenant George? Cheers to my genius crew. That's question 40. It is. Sorry, Nick. No Narnia. I know. Well, it's the Great Rugby Genius quiz. It's not Nick's pub quiz. We can enjoy all things. So there we are. Quite. Everyone got something down then for your second 40, because those have been your 40 questions on your Friday night Great Rugby Genius quiz. Let's have the answers, shall we? Yes, we shall. So here we go then. The answers. We will start with the rugby section. Question 21. Which former rugby player was due to make his mixed martial arts debut this May? It was the brand James Haskell. James Haskell, the answer to question 21. 22, Martin Bayfield was the former England second row who was the stunt double effectively for half giant Hagrid, standing in on all those shots. So Martin Bayfield, your answer to question 22. Question 23, what item has featured in every World Cup since it started in 87? It's not the trophy, it's a whistle. Apparently, I didn't know this, the same whistle is blown for the opening game of every Rugby World Cup tournament. So there you go. Yeah. Question 24. Which nation has appeared in three... By the way, if you've got the whistle, well done. Question 24. Which nation has appeared in 3 Rugby World Cup finals and lost all 3? It is our cousins over the channel. It's the French. France is the answer to question 24. Question 25. Who holds the record for the most tries scored in the 6 Nations Championships? He scored 26 tries. I gave you that little clue, didn't I? It is an Irishman. He's not God, he's bod. It's Brian O'Driscoll. Brian O'Driscoll. Well done if you got that for 25. Question 26. Which team holds the record for the biggest away winning margin in the 6 Nations? It is Ireland against Italy. Ireland are the team you're after. It was against Italy in 2017. And their winning margin was 53 points, winning by 63 points to 10. That is all window dressing. The answer you wanted there was simply Ireland for 26. 27, the only All-Ireland final in the Heineken Cup was in 2012. The 2 teams you wanted there for 2 points, Ulster and Leinster. Ulster and Leinster. If you put any other 2, then they're wrong. Ulster and Leinster for 2 points. Give yourself 1 point if you got 1. That's how that works. Question 28. Name the 2 Australian sides that have not hosted a Bledisloe Cup match. You might have gone with Tasmania as a good save. But who are the rest? You're now going, oh, why didn't I put Tasmania? South Australia is the other one. Stuart, this question. Honestly, love it. So Tasmania and South Australia, you get 2 points for question 28 as well. You may get 1 point. You might have nothing at all, but we'll move on, shall we? Question 29. The brothers from New Zealand who made their Scotland debut in 1998 against South Africa. John and Martin Leslie. John and Martin Leslie. For 2 points you get there. Question 30. Which team has played home matches at Meadowbank, Easter Road and Mireside? That is Edinburgh. Edinburgh Rugby have played home matches at Meadowbank, Easter Road and Mireside. So those are your rugby ones. On to the general sporting knowledge now. How many players are on an Aussie rules team? It's 18. 18, the answer to question 31. 18. Question 32. In football, which team has won the Champions League the most, formerly the European Cup? With 13 titles, it's Real Madrid. Real Madrid. Answer to question 32. Question 33. What is the lowest amount of darts required for a 501 finish? So you could do it with a 180, another 180, and a 141, which means it's 9 darts. 9 darts can be used for a 501 finish. 34. In which sport would competitors use a piece of equipment known as a foil? That would be fencing. Your foil and épée, fencing. Yeah. 35. Of course, the Masters golf tournaments held is Augusta National Golf Club. Well done if you put Augusta. Into general knowledge. 36. Capital of Chile is Santiago. Santiago, the answer to question 36. 37. The Lord Mayor of 1397, 1398, 1406 and 1419. Richard Whittington. Dick Whittington was the answer you wanted to 37. Give yourself a big fat point if you got that. Still just the one, though. It's just a really hench one. 38. Which country is the origin of the cocktail mojito? It is Cuba. Cuba, yes. Question 39. American singer Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germanotta. She's Lady Gaga, of course. Lady Gaga is your answer to question 39. And question 40. In the Blackadder series, who played the character Lieutenant George? Lieutenant George was Hugh Laurie, the brilliant Hugh Laurie, of course, who played Prince George brilliant star of the Blackadder series, and Lieutenant George, Hugh Laurie. So I think I'm told that the second half could be 23. So overall, you're out of 44. Let's see how you've done with your totals for our Friday night number 8, the Great Rugby Genius Quiz. Here we go then. Scores coming in nice and fast as I enjoy a bit more of my Genius Craft light lager. It's very nice indeed. 37.5 playing as Stu Mel Lyons. Impressed myself tonight, says Adrian. Very good. Joe got 36.5. Excellent work, Joe. Nick Hodgson, 34.5. Well done, Nick. Tim Haynes, 39. Lovely job. And Beth Proctor's got 28. William Cook's got 35. Ross Mather. Kenilworth Wasps are on 33.5. 37.5 from Simon Robinson on his own. Very good. Gradiators from Cambridge, 22. Pam, it's just lovely to have you here. Anne-Marie, Nick's Narnia has got 38. Thank you, Anne-Marie. Who else have we got? Nelta's got 30.5, 27.5 for the shocked Galway girls. A view from my camera, 13. Some sad faces. Well, you've taken part. Cumbernaudie's 18.5. Kiki Talks 33.5, Jay Lovell 39. Who else have we got? James Watts 18.5, good recovery second half, lovely. 28.5 from Jay Shu, 7 again, nice. Zoe 27.5. Daniel came back to save us, good, excellent. That's my nephew on form, well done D. Betty 8 for Tony, nice one. Tony McHardy. The Wrexham Barbars 29. Fiona Colin, Team Commune 39.5. Sad performance from the Guildford Guzzlers 28.5. Don't be too sad. It's Friday. The rain's going to stop. We're in for a heat wave. Hooray! Who else have we got? Bruce, I was listening while writing end of the year reports. Bruce, thank you very much. Lovely to have you here. And thank you for your hosting as well. Janie Kutchurik, 12.5 from the Dog Eggs. We tried. God bless you. God loves a trier. That's one. Fantastic. Nick, 26. You're very welcome, Nick Medcroft. 26.5. From Froome Boy 3, Chris Palmer 24, Over Invincibles 23, The Isolators 27.5, Rachel Cross 22.5, Fiona and the Commune are regulars. Good. Well, there we are. A few little rugby chats in the middle and throughout. I'm not one of those players that's played for years, but hopefully you got a little bit more out of my rugby world. Can't wait for the game to get back. Really enjoying the Super Rugby Aotearoa that we're all enjoying on a Saturday morning. If you haven't, then when you close this down, you'll see the link of the PayPal. It would mean an awful lot to me if you could give what you can spare this Friday night for the great man. The My Name's Doddie Foundation, as I said, are doing such fantastic work. And well, the guys at Genius are supporting as well. You are all supported by being here, and whatever further support you can give by donating via the PayPal pool link would be really, really appreciated. Look, it's been brilliant to do something a little bit different than the Nick's Pub quiz I've been doing. If you're new to me here via the Great Rugby Genius quiz and you fancy joining us for a full 40 questions of general knowledge, tomfoolery and silliness and cocktails and madness, then I'm back doing that again on my channel on Rugby Media. Follow me on @NickHeathSport on various social media channels. We're having a bit of a Pride dress up next Saturday. So Nick's Pub Quizzes, I will see you there. Stuart and Jason at the Genius Crew, thank you so much for having me. To Doddie and the My Name's Foundation guys, thank you so much and keep up the brilliant work. This has been Nick Heath. This has been the Great Rugby Genius Quiz, and I'll see some of you next week. Oh, I should just say, joining us next week, yes, of course, a quick trail for next week. Amazing lineup. Look at that. Gregor Townsend, Brian Redpath, Andrew Trimble, and Paul Marshall. That is sensational. But for now, have a lovely weekend. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for giving so generously. And we'll see you very soon. Cheerio.